Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about brows. Everything brows, how I do my brows on a day-to-day basis by just using 5 products. It sounds like a lot, but literally it takes 5 to 10 minutes to do both brows. So without further ado, let's see how I do this look. So the first thing I like to do before filling in my brows is going through with this spoolie, and I'm just going to comb through my brows just to make sure any excess powder products or anything like that will just come off. And it's nice just to comb through first so the hairs are all in one perfect direction. All right, so next up we have brow wax, and I also have an angled eyeliner brush. So what I'm going to do is dip in the angled eyeliner brush into the wax like so, just a little bit, and then I'm going to go in and just fill in the brow with the wax. So I'm just going to go in with that wax from the brand Full Brow Cosmetics, and I'm just applying that wax all over, just so that when we go in with the eyebrow powder product, it's got something to stick to. It's kind of like a primer per se. Just like that. I'm going to do the same on the other side, because sometimes if you go straight in with powder without the wax underneath, it doesn't last long, for one, and two, it doesn't have anything to stick to, so it's a little bit harder to build the color onto the brows. Okay, so wax is on both brows. Now we're going to move on to the actual color product. So we're going in with the same brand, Full Brow, and this is their brow powder in natural brown. Looks like that. And I'm going to use the same angled eyeliner brush to dip it in just a small amount, like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I've got the powder product onto my brush. How I do my brows, I like to start off at the bottom bit of the brow right here, and I create almost like a faint guideline to shape out the brow. So I'm going to start with a light pressure, not too much pressure, and I'm just basically mapping out the brow. Just a faint guideline just underneath the brow, and then just keep following the shape of my brow there. So you can see, I know it looks really strange at first, but don't worry, we're going to continue in a minute. But you can see that I've just mapped out my brow, exactly how long I want the tail of the brow to be, just basically mapping it out first. And then now we're going to start filling it in. And if you feel like that the guideline is too harsh, you can always grab your spoolie and then just lightly comb up, and it just fades it and blends it out a little bit. So now what I do next is go back into that brow powder, and then I start filling in my brow, and I work in little like dashes. I don't really just color it in like this. I just go in little dashes like so. And I'm basically using, so that's the brush there, and I'm using the very tip of the brush to kind of create like a microblade effect. So I'm just feathering it in. And the idea is to keep the front bit of the brow relatively light, and then it almost goes into this gradient effect. So what I mean, guys, is the front bit of the brow here is relatively light or faded, and then it goes a little bit darker once you get towards the middle part of the brow and the tail of the brow. I find that that gives you a more realistic, natural look to the brow versus a full block of color on the brows. I think that can be a bit too harsh on the eyes, and if you're not careful, it can almost look like fat black caterpillars on your eyes. So I'm just like feathering it in. I start from the bottom and then work my way to the top, and as I work my way to the top part of the brow, like there, I just lighten my pressure of the brush so I don't put too much product in the brow. And it's okay if you make a little mistake, because at the end of this brow tutorial I will show you a way to clean up. If you want good brows, be patient with it and spend a bit more time perfecting it. I have to say brows is one of my favorite features to work with on a client's face next to eyeshadow. I just love shaping and filling them in. And if you feel like, you know, the front bit of your brow is too sparse and you need a little bit more brow hairs there, you can always dip back into your brow product, in this case brow powder, and then you work in horizontal strokes upwards to create realistic brow hairs. So I'm just going to do a few upward strokes just to fill in where I feel that it's a bit sparse. And don't worry, if you make a mistake, you can always grab your spoolie brush here and just lightly comb upwards, and it just blends out the product so it's not as harsh. Okay, so next I like to go in with a brow pencil and fill in any like sparse areas and darken the tail of the brow right here. So I'm going to go in with the Kevyn Aucoin brow pencil in the shade Brunette. So this pencil here, it's a wind up one. So if you wind it up, you'll see it's a very fine micro tip, which I prefer my brow pencils to be like this, just because I can really feather in brow hairs and really be precise with the brows. And then on the other side here, you have a mini spoolie, which is great. All right, so I'm just going to feather in any sparse areas just really lightly with the brow pencil. Okay, and then I'm just going to grab my spoolie here and just lightly comb through just to blend everything. Okay, that's done. Okay, so they may look like they're finished, but they're not. We're going to clean up around the brows with a bit of concealer, and to do so, I'm going to use a flat concealer brush. This one is by MAC. It's the 212 brush, I'm pretty sure. And the concealer of choice today is going to be the Tarte Amazonian Clay concealer, stick concealer. This is in the shade Fair Light, but you can honestly use any concealer just to make sure that when you do choose your concealer color, that it matches your foundation color so it doesn't look too bright or anything like that. So going in with the flat concealer brush, and I'm just going to start at the bottom of the brow, and I'm just going to carve it out just to give it a really precise, clean finish to the brow. So it may look really odd because we haven't blended out the concealer yet, but don't stress. In comes this guy here. It's another flat concealer brush, but it's a little bit thicker. And I'm just going to blend that in. All right, so we've just concealed underneath the brow here, and now we're going to carve out the rest. I'm going to start here and just clean up around the tail of the brow, just like that, and then grab the other concealer brush that's clean, and then just blend that out. And then I'm just going to lightly touch up on the top part of the brow here. Okay, I'm going to move on to the other side. Alright, so now that I've carved out both brows with concealer and I'm happy with the shape and how they are, I'm going to move on to the very last step now, which is clear brow gel. This is my favorite clear brow gel of all time because it's just the bee's knees when it comes to brow gels. It holds my brows up. They have a tendency so they grow straight. And they sort of go downwards. So I need my brow hairs to be up, like pushed up. And some of the clear brow gels that I've used in the past don't hold them up as well. And this is the only one that I found to do that. So this is the Surratt Clear Brow Gel Pomade. The brush looks like this. And I'm just going to brush upwards and follow the natural shape of my brow. Can you guys see the difference between one with brow gel and one without? The brow hairs are just more pushed up and it looks a bit more full. So just brush upwards. I love a good fluffy brow. Alright guys, so that is it for my brow tutorial. I hope you all enjoyed this video and took something out of it. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to this channel for future content. If you have any questions, or I'd like to know your favorite brow products at the moment for 2019, hit me down in the comments section below. But that is it, and for now, bye bye.